think we are good.
Oh,
Hello to all you patriots out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 444 of Canadian Patriot Podcast, the number one live podcast in Canada, recorded March 17th, 2025. So happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
that's
We need your help to support the Canadian Patriot Podcast. Visit patreon.com/CPB and become a Patreon. You can get a better quality version of the show for just $1 per episode. Show you're not a communist. Buy a CPP t-shirt for just $24.99 plus shipping and theft. Visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com homepage and follow the link on the right.
And that brings us to our favorite segment of the show. What are we drinking? And something you've done off the Patriot Challenge. Let's go with Eric. What are you drinking, sir?
top of the morning to you, lads. Tonight we're drinking some proper 12 Irish whiskey
Nice.
Solid choice. Solid choice.
and a couple of Guinness to wash it down with afterwards, and a sausage roll just finishing up that I'm going to go grab in a second. Patriot Challenge. I did two things this week. I was having issues with a boomstick, so I did a little maintenance, and then I was also hacking much too hard at things. So I did some knife sharpening as well, practicing some sharpening skills, and then got one to the point where I could shave with it. So I'm happy. Not as easy as it looks, but sharpening and cleaning were two tasks this week that I needed to practice up on. So that's what I did. Pierre.
I'm drinking Jameson tonight.
Solid choice. Solid choice.
Yes. I've got some with a little bit of Pepsi, and then I got a nice big one over there with just my little stainless steel ice things, because I don't like ice in my drinks, but I like it cold. So that's chilling over there for.
The Jameson aside, do you ever do picklebacks?
I'm not a liberal.
Shot of Jameson and a shot of pickle juice followed.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
It sounds, oh, dude, it sounds
No.
disgusting.
No.
My son-in-law, he convinced me. You need to try it. When you come down, my friend.
Buddy, careful. You're gonna lose your steak real soon.
Can't people just drink alcohol
Yeah.
without doing weird things to it?
I like
Oh,
it chilled,
yeah.
and we can have the whole debate about if you put a little bit of water in it, it helps enhance everything. I'm not a fan of ice in my drinks, whether it be pop, anything. I like it cooled. My whiskey, I'll keep it in the freezer if I can. But I'm like, when you let that water melt, I'm like, that first sip, if you don't shake it, tastes like ass. I'm not interested. So I was like, I'll just keep it cool. I've got those whiskey rocks and little stainless steel stuff you put in the freezer. That's how I keep it. I
Fair
guess I'm
point,
different.
Todd. Fair point.
Patriot Challenge again. I've avoided all useless news while at work. Listen to a few podcasts that got me intrigued into a few things. So I've started dabbling into that research, and I got a feeling I've got two rabbit holes that are coming up real soon that are probably going to drive me nuts.
It happens.
Yeah, drinking the waters. Started doing similar to Eric, taking a look at a few of the boomsticks. Been a little bit since we've been out and had some stuff to do, so they kind of went by the wayside, even though we should probably keep those top notch. But yeah, figuring in the next few days / weeks, take all the boomsticks out, make sure they work, make sure everything's good, and try and make some time to go get some trigger time in, and drinking. Yeah, so that's about it for me. What about you, Gavin?
I am also keeping with the Irish theme today and drinking a couple of cans of Guinness. And Patriot Challenge stuff. I was helping out at the St. Patrick's Day parade yesterday in Toronto. So I had to exercise extreme amounts of patience dealing with the crowd. Because there was
as we heard.
Yes. I may as well tell, well, at least some of the stories. I'll tell both stories. They're kind of funny. So, pardon the other panelists because they literally just heard these, but so downtown Toronto, Yonge and Dundas Square, the festivities have not really started yet. I'm sitting there with some of the other people on my team, and a lady comes up to me. She starts talking. I kind of have to move a little bit closer to hear. And then I kind of notice that she's missing the majority of her teeth, but has one giant buck tooth right in the middle of her face. So I'm kind of fixated on this giant buck tooth. And then I kind of look down and notice that she's got a stroller. And then I kind of had to do like a double take because inside of said stroller wasn't a baby, but a doll, just pushing it around like it's an actual baby. So that was very strange, but also it's Toronto, so par for the course. Later on in the day, I'm out there keeping people back as best I can. I'm literally like right at the intersection there at Yonge and Dundas on the corner with the Eaton Center there.
But you're at Sankofa Square.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said, Yonge and Dundas. And so I'm keeping everyone back as best I can, but everyone's like having a good time and not listening because they're adults and it's Toronto. Some children come bursting through and right out onto the road and like we're trying to keep everyone back and it's like, okay, there's kids, so I can't really ignore them, right? Like I go to the kids, I'm like, hey guys, like look, can you step back a little bit, like you're supposed to be behind the barricade, right?
Yeah.
Little kid immediately starts lipping off to me because he's a little Irish kid, or a wee shite, as they would say. And he's like, why do I have to go back if they're get to stand over there? I'm like, well, because I'm asking you. Like, I'm kind of the one in charge here. Like, go, can you please step back? It's like, it's for your own safety.
Yep.
Like I've asked them, they're not really listening, but like, it'd be great if you could, and then I can start going and asking them. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere comes the drunk Irish mother, just screaming at me and all up in my face and telling me off and like, why are you standing in front of my kids and blocking their view and like, get your eyes off of my kids, and just swearing and just getting real obnoxious. And it's like, lady, it's my job to stand here. Like, I'm not purposely standing in front of your kids, although at some of those events, I do purposely stand in front of people that are being really annoying. Like if they
Yes.
keep stepping out of line with their camera to take pictures and I have to keep going to the same person to be like, please step back, I will
Yeah, you're gonna-
stand in front of their camera and I will tell them that I am purposely doing this until they step back.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Deal with people.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my excitement on Sunday with those people. So yeah.
Sounds horrible.
And yes, to answer some comments in the chat here, yes, I was temporarily the government and telling people that it was for their safety, but it actually was for their safety because there were cars and everything going by, and they may have got hit by one of them. Also, I do need to apologize to the problem because I was at the Sportsman Show and I was trying to find the ORA booth to come and say hello to you, but I couldn't find it because you guys were in a different spot. And nobody has posted anything on the ORA page since like I don't know, like November. So I apologize that we didn't come and say hello when we were there. Speak to your
concur.
marketing team. Yeah.
I concur. I also was there on Friday and did not see said ORA booth as well. So
I was not there, but I live in the Gooch, the butthole.
well, you didn't
Yeah.
see it then either. I mean, it's
Yeah.
unanimous. None of us saw the
Yeah.
ORA
Yeah.
booth at
Yeah.
the Sportsman Show.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it either. So
It's all in the messaging here.
Yeah. But yes.
it was for our safety.
Yes, it absolutely was. But no, for real, it was actually for their safety so they don't get hit by all the cars. But it is what it is. It made for an exciting day and some funny stories that I can tell to you now. And that's about it. Yeah. Otherwise, it was a good time. Oh, yeah. And, also I was at the Sportsman Show, saw some friends, did some things. It was good times. On to the news. Speaking of useless things and people going in places and all of the things, our latest Prime Minister unelect, Mr. Mark Carney, arrives in Paris to meet with European allies amid U.S. trade war.
So, I
I think before we start, we should call him Kamala Carney.
I'm good with that.
'Cause neither was she was not elected neither by anybody. So just
No,
no.
but she never got to be president.
well,
That's the thing.
true.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and somehow a guy that seems to have had no political
it's worse actually.
aspirations. Yeah. No political aspirations whatsoever to all of a sudden, weeks later, being prime minister. A little odd, but hey, welcome to the clown show.
The
Well, as I
Carney
saw
show.
on the internet this week, every circus needs a carney.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. It is not
So-
a circus without one. But yes, it's a bit of a strange thing given everything that's going on. I guess, there was like a thing going on where they were all getting together to meet. So it's kind of important that he goes there, I guess, but also it's a bit odd given the current situation with the US that his first trip would be over to both Paris and London. So I guess he had to go and at some point fillet the royal appendage.
Sign
yeah.
that shit off, eh? But,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't understand why. Okay, so we're paying for the carbon tax on that, all the fuel going there. We're gonna pay for
No,
all the
it's
fucking stuff.
he canceled that. It's fine.
Yeah,
We'll get into that more later,
We'll
but
get
yeah.
into that later. Yes, that's leading into it. Right. So we're paying for that. So we're paying for room, board, travel, whole kit caboodle. So why did you go to France and the UK to discuss a tariff war with a country that is glued to us?
Well, yeah, it seems
Like-
that he's trying to get some European allies, and apparently, en français, he said to macaroon, which by the way are delicious.
Yeah.
It's
Chocolate covered.
a recipe that has been in this guy's family for generations, apparently. But Carney has described Canada as most European of non-European countries.
It's because we're the only ones that want British rule. Like,
Yeah,
like in quotations on that, right? Like in quotations, because
yeah.
we it's just a signature of respect, I guess you could say, because they're too much of a little fucking cunts to say like, hey, we don't want to deal with you anymore, and we want to do our own thing.
Well, yeah,
But-
but like, okay, so of all of the like non-European countries, so we'll exclude anything in Europe, they are either their own thing
Mm-hmm.
or they're a handful of countries that were founded by Europeans.
Yep.
So yes, and of all those, apparently we are the most European. But also that's sort of weird given that according to Trudeau, old stock Canadians, which to me means Europeans, I'm inferring based on his statement, but I don't know how else to take that because I don't think he was talking about the original Canadians, which we the indigenous people.
Yep.
And I don't think he was talking about new Canadians that have irregular immigration. So I have no one else to believe he was talking about other than the European, specifically British people, for the most part, that came to this country and founded this country. Apparently they're not okay, they're bad, and being old stock Canadian is bad, but now we are still the most European of non-European countries, and that's supposed to be a good thing. He's using that to suck up to this guy.
Yep. Like I still don't understand why we went to another whole other country to say like, hey, we're gonna build a relationship so that we can help each other due to this trade war. Like, am I the only one that this could have been done by like a phone call?
I mean, absolutely, and
hey,
it could have been
like
done later.
Yeah, the U.S. is gonna charge us, 50% tariffs on a good, and we were buying from them because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
But you're only 30% more expensive than what we originally cost, so we're still gonna save
Yeah, and
20%
a hell
due
of a
to the
lot more
tariff.
freight. Yeah.
Yeah, like right. So, hey, can you scratch my back and like what can we do for you? Like all this could have been done via emails from their secretaries or anything. But like we fly there and we're gonna do a bunch of stuff and then we're gonna come back and nothing is changing. The big bad tariffs are still there,
Yeah.
right? Like the orange monster
Well,
in the
but
U.S. that's going to
we're
define. That's going to.
trying to get allies because according to Carney here, they need to strengthen our diplomatic ties to address a world that
Yeah.
is increasingly unstable and dangerous. So
Yes.
the first thing we do is go to the French because they are known for being totally emotionally stable and great allies that don't run away.
Always take left flank.
It also says in this article, he deliberately chose those two countries because England and France basically were here first.
Yeah.
And as well as, and then I know in the article it mentions his next stop is the Iqaluit because of course the
Yeah.
English and French kicked the First Nations out.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to make amends, reparations, if you will. Trying to the 300-pound gorilla next door make amends, but I mean, pull your head out of your.
So he may also only go in to Iqaluit to get some nice fuck boots.
Yeah. I mean, those sealskin boots are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't pick someone up while you're wearing those, like you've got no game at all.
Yeah, no.
You've got negative game. Like those, like
Depends how fresh they are.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, but Gavin wouldn't have even commented on the one bucktooth if she had fuck boots on.
If she had some sweet sealskin boots.
Sweet sealskin.
Yeah, but maybe that's how she got the bucktooth because like that's how they formed like the old school way is they chew on it to like get the leather soft.
Yeah. That could have been
it. Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, it's just complete
or
useless.
Her sealskin boots were so fresh somebody whacked her on the head to get them and then realized that oops.
Yeah, I do like how they point out here the fact that the key difference between Canada and the US is that we never broke away from the UK in a violent fashion.
So
they tried to do it diplomatically and they said no, so they said fine, we'll fight for it. Compared to them just being like, that makes sense. You're across the fucking ocean.
Oh yeah.
So who's at fault there? But that's a different kind of politics than tonight.
Yeah. So a bunch of dumb things were said when he was over in Paris. So let's flip over to when he goes and meets with the, King Chuckles there.
Not to mention the fact that the French and the English are trying to kick each other out of the country.
Well, yeah, but that's just like, sibling rivalry, really.
Kind of still are, but
yeah. Yes, upon his entry into London there, some things he was saying was that Canada can stand up for its own sovereignty as European trip wraps up. So we're going to go running to the king, who technically is still our king, but then say, hey, we don't need you. We can stand up for ourselves.
You're not the boss of me.
Yeah.
That's why we have a governor general that we pay stupid amounts of money to represent the king. Or the crown, I guess, at that point, which ends up being a king right now. And that's just a dog and pony show with someone there to sign a piece of paper because they never object to anything.
Yeah. So a bunch of reporters asked him about, Trump and the comments that Trump is saying about, the 51st state and
gay North Dakota. Here we come.
Yeah. And then his response is, which I mean, I don't think this is a terrible response, but he says, I don't think one needs to respond to every comment about another country. That's fair. Like, I mean, what do you do with when a bully is bullying you, just like ignore it. And if you don't feed the troll goes away eventually. So I don't think that's a terrible thing. We'll see if it works in this case, but we also need to stop doing dumb things like putting counter tariffs on and then taking them off and then putting them on and then shutting the power off and then turning it back on
and then being upset that they retaliated. Just being like, yeah, well, I thought I was going to get the last word. Yeah. But
and they've apparently they've called out those comments. They're disrespectful and they're not helpful and they need to stop. But I mean, I think this is, Trump, that's what Trump does. He's unpredictable. He's not necessarily the most couth person in the room, but that's what people wanted. They wanted someone that's a little bit brash and is going to be a little bit abrasive at times, and it's working, so he's going to keep doing it.
I was listening to someone comment today on his doings and how he conducts his business and all this is he is transactional. He's a what's in it for me kind of guy, and what can you do for me now? And that's not he doesn't play politics like all these other guys do.
Yeah.
He has no long game
No.
other than the MAGA, which can't say I disagree with. I mean,
Yeah.
if I was in his
He-
position,
He now has 3 years and change to do what he wants to do. So there is no next term where you could maybe play. He has a finite amount
Yeah.
of time, and then he
He's
can't
done.
be there anymore.
and he has no reason to hold back, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we could disagree with how he's doing
sure.
everything.
Well, I mean,
but-
he is an asshole. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
There's no
and
question
that's what I'm
about
getting
it.
at, right? Like we can disagree about how he's taking his stance on everything, but a giant thing that he's putting tariffs on everything coming in and everything, I wish our country could do, and we could not have this fucking carny
Yeah,
fucking
but-
bullshit in. He wants to bring production back. He's like, let's bring the jobs back to the U.S. So, we import all our steel. Let's put a tariff on it, where steel gets so expensive
Yeah.
that
You have to buy our steel,
Yeah.
or there's no
so
cost
now
advantage. Yeah.
someone needs to figure out, okay, how can we make a steel business in the U.S.? So,
Yeah.
fine,
they
he's
had
doing the
one.
tariffs thing. We don't know if there's on the backside, like, or there's an incentive, like, hey, who wants to make steel, aluminum, this, that, all these stuffs we buy, like, hey, let's make some tax credits. Let's figure
Yeah,
out how
there's
to
all kinds
bump
of
those
things we could
businesses.
do and have conversations and negotiate like we're supposed to.
So, I not
He's
entirely
doing
supportive
what
of how he's doing it, but
he's
Go
doing
for it.
what he's
There's
supposed to
also,
do. But what's a bigger dick move? Like threatening to bomb them or nuke them or invade them, which like other presidents have done or have
Yep.
used that sort of threat, or going completely non-military and going totally economically and going, okay, fine, like you don't want to take these people back into your country that are your citizens that are here illegally, fine, we'll tariff you.
Yep.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
Without a threat of violence.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
So-
like it or not, like, is it a bully kind of a tactic? Maybe you could consider it that way, but it's working. And
yeah,
maybe,
it's,
ignoring the bully is maybe the better thing to do, but we really haven't been doing that. We've been doing everything but that and just acting stupid. And, Trump is a little bit more overt, where you look at it references
bold
some
and-
things that Charles here has done, because he hasn't come right out and supported Canada in all of this, but apparently he's been quite subtle about it, maybe too subtle that people are not getting it. But apparently he's had some significant things where he's gone and he has worn his Canadian medals as opposed to his British medals during some high profile military visits to I believe there was a ship of some kind that he was at. Apparently he's also planted a red maple tree on the grounds of Buckingham Palace. And he has given his personal Canadian liaison and senior protocol officer in Parliament a sword. So I understand how some people could miss those things in their significance.
because none of it has to do with Canadian
Yeah.
culture.
But apparently this is Charles's way of supporting Canada without coming outright and supporting Canada. Because the least he would do is like, draw the eyes of Trump and the fury of supporting Canada and then end up being tariffed themselves or something.
Yeah, I
Well, not only
planted
that,
a tree. Get out of here.
I'm sure that the support in the UK or the vitriol is just as deep as it runs here, and the masses there are probably as educated as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at, there was a thing I saw on the interwebs this week from a British podcaster, and I think it was the Department of Education, the mayor. There's a whole bunch of high-profile senior UK officials, and they were all of the Islamic persuasion. So they don't want. I can see King Charles not wanting to ruffle the feathers, as it were.
Yeah.
Lest he wear them covered in oil.
Yeah.
Poor Tom. So,
Wow. Some more things Carney has done. Axe the carbon tax. It's gone.
no,
All he had to do was just do a Trump-like document signing, and magically the carbon tax vanished overnight.
no,
Or did it? Yeah.
no,
Well, yeah,
no.
that's what he wants you to think.
Well,
He
and so
just
But we
changed
are
the
here.
percent to 0. It's still
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
We are here to inform you differently. But
Yeah. So like that whole document signing thing was basically to mimic Trump with his executive orders and make it look like a thing. Because if it was that easy for the government to just go and like order and counsel it away,
Yeah.
why did the liberals previous to this not do that? Like if it was that
They
easy
did,
to
didn't
undo,
they?
yeah. No, it's only that easy to get guns to become prohibited to not, but to remove a tax, apparently
Yeah.
it is not that easy. You must actually do legislation to remove a tax.
Yep.
Now, this is where an
Wow.
order in council will work because the tax is still there, but as we said, it's not gone. They've just made it 0, which is using an order in council to not create legislation or remove legislation, but move things around within the regulations that already exist. So if they want to change the percentage, they can do it. But the whole thing was like a dog and pony show. And even with the consumer tax being proposed going away, well, the industrial tax, as they're calling it, will still be there. So
not much is changing.
no, like literally
Nothing.
nothing will change unless you
No.
go and buy something that is made from like a very small local mom and pop establishment.
Yep.
You will still be stuck paying the carbon tax on things, and even then you still are because chances are the stuff that the people that have the small business are making had to come from somewhere and be transported at some point in time. It has some component that is going to get impacted by the
carbon
industrial
tax.
tax versus the consumer tax.
Yeah. That was the other thing I heard today. Somebody saying that people were all excited about it. And they said, well, I've never heard of a corporation say, you know what, we're
Yeah.
getting taxed more, but nah, we'll eat that cost and we'll not pass it on to a consumer.
No.
Yeah,
Just
that's not going to happen. So like all of those
It's not.
companies that are still going to get taxed are going to pass that on, and that's all the big companies. Which how many people go and truly shop at an independent grocer where there is only one of one, right?
nobody. There's very few
Exactly.
independent grocers around.
Exactly.
And-
So if
and-
you
and-
go to buy groceries, you're going to a big company that is going to likely have to pay this tax.
And even if they did cut this tax for those big corporations, you wouldn't see a price drop overnight, right? It
No.
would take a very
Time
long
for all of
time.
the thing to filter
time.
through.
But
Time for
but
everything.
that doesn't make sense because the minute they increase the tax, you see it right away. So
Welcome to
Is it
my
rigged?
dilemma and why I drink. But
Yeah.
right, like yeah. So if they said, hey, it's going up, like you bought a cucumber for $1 today and it went up 25%, it's gonna be $1.25 tomorrow. But if they dropped it 25%, you were paying $1.25. It's still gonna be 6 months before you pay $1 for your cucumber, right?
Yeah.
Which
But I
is
can tell you why,
other thing.
because when you run a business and you carry inventory and all of a sudden that inventory gets devalued, the auditors get really angry and go, why
So,
did all of a sudden
I'm-
your inventory, why did you lose $1 million? Well, you
Yeah,
see, I didn't
so-
actually lose $1 million. It's just that the exchange rate shifted or a tax went away, and the thing that I now have isn't as valuable as it once was. It's not an actual loss.
So I'm not
as
opposed
a
to
consumer, that sounds like a you problem.
no. It does, but at the same time,
Yeah.
if you paid whatever it was at that point, I'm not going to disagree that you should make a profit,
Yeah.
not
Based-
aspirate me, but make a
Based
profit,
on what
right?
I paid for it.
Yes. So that tax, okay, fine, but you can't
Yeah.
tell me cucumbers at the grocery store last 6 months,
Yeah.
right? So, right, we're going to use groceries as an example, especially
Yeah.
What about
fresh
their
stuff,
pickles?
the breads, not the canned stuff that they can have, trailers
Yeah.
for, and they paid for whatever. But my cucumbers, the second that inventory of the cucumbers you paid prior to that tax the price
Yeah.
should drop almost like literally. Like, hey, this is a new
within a
batch.
few days, it
Yeah.
should.
Because right,
Yeah.
maybe stuff that's in the freezer,
Well,
you know, stuff that's got a long shelf life, depending what you paid. I'm not opposed to that unless,
yeah.
you know, as much as I'm going to say like government relief for it, which is you're still paying for it, is just like you paid that what it was and you mark up 12, 15, 20, 30%, as long as that's consistent across all your products and you're not trying to capitalize on, well, let's see if we can put another few bulk orders through under this clause.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it. If you're going to be honest, you're like, hey, sorry, yeah, I know you read on the news that you're going to save money, but I paid this for it, and that's the markup. So until this inventory is gone, then I will give you, yes, 100% fair market value as I got a discount, you're going to get a discount. I'm not opposed to that. But yeah, I can see how like, oh, my inventory is, I lost $1 million because the dollar crashed or this, that. Yeah, that's different. But just speaking fresh fruit stuff, the 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 turnaround on all that stuff does need to be a lot quicker because it's next day that my product goes up, even though that's inventory that was sitting there and they already paid for prior to that tax, which is another problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this all can be just like magicked away. Why are they waiting till April 1?
No.
Well, it gives them time to figure out how to not make it go away,
Well,
or
figure
bend
out
it
where
over
they
a
can,
different way.
like if you're gonna
Yeah,
make
where
it
they
go
can
away,
put it.
make it go away right away.
yeah, make it go away 2 days ago and let me get my money back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things like,
Since when has the government ever actually made anything smaller?
I mean, they've tried to make some people's gun collections smaller. Tried,
Yeah.
but I think they've
What-
made a few people's gun collections larger.
yeah. What was the gun sales after right before the handgun freeze?
Yeah,
Sales went up like
a year's worth of
ridiculous.
sales in several weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, but that's for another night. I'm getting sad.
Yeah. But yeah, like they haven't axed the tax, you
No.
know. Although they're trying to tell you that, like all over social media is like Carney gets it done, and they're posting like carbon tax gone, and you're like, but he didn't. Like it's still there. He's
Yeah.
made the rate 0, so literally the tax is still there, and at any point in time they could just take another
Bring it
order
up
in
to
council and just like boop, bump those percentages up. And if they do it like a percent at a time, right? Like you don't chuck the frog in the boiling water, you just keep putting the temperature up ever so slightly, and then they don't even know that they're getting boiled.
Yeah, and that's the part that's gonna drive me nuts during this whole thing, right? So they did the whole thing, you know, cool hair, fancy sock guy's gone, and they brought this fucking clown show in.
Yeah.
And he's on paper, right, doing the things like, hey, I went to the UK to build stuff and, you know, do something with the pole of the king, and then axing this tax and everything. It's almost like they know there's an election coming very soon, and they're trying to show like, hey, look, we just had a really bad leader, but look at us now. Look at what we've done for you. And I think most Canadians, due to the retardedness of most Canadians, are going to fall for it and not see it as what we see it, where it's just a dog and pony show trying to, you know, beat the conservatives again.
Well,
Yeah.
I saw some political rantings from the Liberals saying Pierre is still trying to tell them to axe the tax, and we've already done that. And they're like, so they're playing that up as, but they're not.
Yeah. Except
Yeah.
that, I mean, so you look at there was the photo circulating there of Carney at the plant, the steel plant, where he's got his helmet on and it's just like sitting on the top of his head rather than being worn properly, and he looks kind of awkward. And so do like the people behind him that are MPs, if
The
people
4
didn't
MPs
know.
behind him, yeah.
Yeah, that look even more awkward with their like safety goggles and everything.
Yeah.
hilarious photo. But apparently, there's a bunch of stuff going around about that where like he didn't want people taking photos or recording or this or that or whatever for certain parts of it. And then at the end of it, apparently, and this could all be rumor, but they asked like if anyone wanted to get a photo with him, and nobody did. Not a single
Nice.
person that was at the plant wanted to get their photo with him.
Like,
But like
that
while
makes-
he's there, he's talking up like this industrial carbon tax and everything else. So like yes, they're pitching it that they have gotten rid of the carbon tax, but they have not. It's only the consumer portion and all the industrial stuff that is used to manufacture fucking everything.
The consumer stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So
is still
So,
going to
like-
be there. And so here, this guy has the audacity to get up inside of a plant that is going to drastically affect these people and their ability to be competitive, especially when you look at like tariffs that are going to affect steel fucking plants.
Yep.
Here we are. We're not doing anything about this tax. If we're going to keep it, and if anything, we're probably going to increase it. So you become less competitive with the tariffs in place because fuck you.
Oh, yeah. All right, so hold on. Problem, put something on YouTube's. So make your predictions. Elections, sorry, in a few weeks or delayed till 2029 because of the next pandemic, war, or aliens. If it's delayed till 2029, depending on which side of the war I'm going to watch a few movies before I go to work.
Yeah. The chair is
I think
against the
election coming
wall.
Well, if
John has a long mustache. Yeah.
they talk about the elections, I got my first email yesterday, or was it this morning? Would you like a lawn sign from my local MP? So it's not an if, it's a when now. So
Right. Yeah. Like I got one of those texts where it was like, I'm from this party. Are you gonna vote, NDP, this, that, and a number, and like reply with your number. So I replied back, go fuck yourself. And they didn't even reach back out and like say anything to me. So I'm kind of upset about that. But yeah, I got like one of those random texts, like random number. I'm from this, Elections Canada. How are you gonna vote in this? And blah blah blah. Like text back. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like,
Yeah.
don't text me. Come meet me at work and work with me for a day and ask me how I feel about stuff. Then I will tell you how I'm gonna vote. Other than that, leave me alone.
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly never be a member of multiple political parties in order to
No, because it infringes on all the parties' things.
cause issues. However, I do seem to get
Allegedly.
an awful lot of emails from multiple political parties, and they all seem to be making the posturing that there will be an election soon.
Yes. So-
My prediction is that there will be one soon.
Before next year.
Yes,
Before 2026, there will be an election.
I think there will be one.
hopefully before next season.
I have a
Season being
strong
summer,
feeling
so-
that there will be one that is called before October. And speaking with Rod at the show, he also feels that as well. And his reasoning, and I kind of like his reasoning. Apparently, as evidenced by the nobody wanting to take a photo with him at the plant, Carney is so unlikable that the longer it takes, the more people will learn about him, and he will become even less likable. I mean, like, there's already a lot of issues here with the multiple passports, the fact that he hasn't lived in Canada for like a decade, the fact that, like, as we've already
Keep
alluded
talking,
to, like,
Gavin.
yeah, his wife,
Mm.
thought that $7,000+ a week wasn't enough for like their living expense, not even like their groceries and like, but like just the housing or whatever.
Was that a week or a month? I
That
thought
was for a
month.
week, so it was like $7,000 a week.
Okay.
So some like
I'm not
I mean, I
saying
can
that's
see
better.
that.
I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not saying that's better.
Yeah, yeah.
I just thought that was a monthly,
The-
just for room and board was 7,700. But
not
a
even
week.
not even the board, just the room.
Yeah.
Right? Like they had like a housing expense of 7,000 and change a week, and apparently that was not enough to have a house in London. So there's a lot of things about Carney. We still need to kind of get a much better explanation of the whole like why is the sister-in-law in like the Epstein phone book 4 times? Now apparently like
Yeah,
her and
but
what's her face there, Maxwell, like went to school together. Which, like,
Chisholm.
okay, understandable that they might know each other as a result of having gone to school together and all, but I don't have everybody that I went to high school with in my phone book. In fact,
I don't talk to anybody I went to high school with, and I'm younger than you are.
yeah,
I'm way younger than Eric. That's beside the point.
and as of right now, it's not that I wouldn't talk to some of those people, but generally I don't either. Like, I just don't run into
No.
them. We just don't have things in common, mostly COVID stuff. And like, it just you get older and you kind of drift apart. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's just life. I mean, if I
I can
find
count
out
on,
that
I
my
can
25-year
count
high
on,
school reunion is coming up, which it is, and if I know where it is and when it is, I'd go just to hang out and see some people.
I
But
can
I
count on
really,
no fingers the number of
yeah,
people I know from high school.
Yep. Yeah.
and you're not any worse off for it,
No.
Probably,
right?
probably better off.
So it's weird that just because I went to high school with them, yeah, they've got me in their phone book 4 times. That is not a casual passing acquaintance. That is
No, that's
right.
that's not like they had your phone number from 4 years ago and you changed providers and you couldn't get your phone
Yeah.
number or whatever and like something fell through the pipeline, but like they have 4 different phone numbers to get you. Makes
So
no
yeah,
sense.
I think for many reasons they will have an election soon,
Yes.
but I could be completely wrong.
No,
Wouldn't be the first time or the last time that happened, but
but we'll most likely be right.
yeah, I maybe not like as soon as we want it, but I think definitely ahead of the sort of October deadline in terms of not extending the vote out.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like if things get really bad between us and the US because our people are being stupid, who knows, right? Then they might extend things out and everything else. But
Yeah, no, I don't agree.
yeah, one thing that is certainly not going to help the relations. Um, Toronto is no longer providing financial incentives for Teslas.
Oh,
So
sweet.
apparently there was a thing where if you could buy a Tesla uh, for a taxi or ride share, you're no more incentives, according to Olivia Chow.
So does that affect the people that did this a year ago?
No, they still totally got their incentives for buying a vehicle. Yeah.
But
No.
is it an incentive over a year's or at the time of purchase? Where those
Well,
I think it's a
incentives-
tax
Okay.
incentive at times of purchase. Yeah. So as of
Okay.
March
Yeah.
1st,
The end of the article,
yeah.
she says the financial impact of this movement will not be large. It is symbolic.
Yeah.
So Olivia Chow is doing Olivia Chow things and Toronto's getting what they deserve.
Yes.
Yes. And
So
and
in
I don't.
short, Olivia Chow is a large movement.
Yeah. But I don't know if you've met Elon.
Yeah, I don't think
Heard
you
Yeah,
him.
can.
we golfed the
Or
other
heard
day.
him talk.
We
Where
golfed
he's
the other
just like,
day.
yeah, no problem. Oh, you didn't want to
Hey.
incentivize that? He's like, you're paying twice the fucking price now.
Yeah,
Suck my dick.
my heart
Is what
goes
he's
out to
gonna
him.
fucking
Yeah.
say. Right?
I don't think we should have been incentivizing people anyways for this stuff.
No, I don't.
If becoming a rideshare driver is such an amazing opportunity, and I know a bunch of people that do it and make a fairly decent living at it.
Yes?
Yep.
But if it is
Same.
not a viable option to use one of these cars all on its own, then subsidizing it doesn't make it better because eventually
No,
those subsidies need to stop.
So,
Like,
but was it a subsidy to make this more efficient or just
I think it was a
incentivize?
subsidy to encourage people to go
Yeah.
green and not the kind of
Yes.
green that the three of us are doing today in honor of St. Patrick's Day, but this fake environmentalism Yeah.
Right. So like I said, so if you want to push the electric vehicle, you want to incentivize people. I'm not saying government should take my tax money and give someone a
Yeah.
tax break on something, but if it's something new, obviously there's a lot of pushback on it. I don't trust it. Electric vehicle, get the fuck
Well,
away from
but
me.
so
I absolutely
they're still gonna give incentives on electric vehicles for people, just not on Teslas.
right. So that's a problem. But
Isn't that racism?
no, because he's
To me, it sounds like they don't like Africans
South Africans
or
anyway.
Canadians or Americans
Or-
because he's a citizen of all of those places. Yeah.
yeah, right. But so you want to make a push for it, because you didn't do your research and realize that all the infrastructure behind building all those batteries is almost way worse to the environment than putting gas in your vehicle, doing maintenance on your vehicle, making sure it runs properly. The carbon footprint compared to a regular gasoline motor compared to almost all full electric vehicles due to everything to make the batteries way worse for the environment, but like not in Canada, so I guess that's where the differentiates is crazy.
Huh?
And
The problem in the comments writes
Yeah.
for Chow, it is patriotism supporting Chinese electric cars.
Absolutely, it is, and I'm sure JT is all on board with that as well because he does
Yeah.
admire their basic dictatorship.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but this past week I had heard somewhere that one of the battery plants or a battery company has gone tits up.
I haven't heard anything about that,
I
Yeah.
but it wouldn't
my
surprise me.
my lovely was doing some digging on some those. She kind of goes down those rabbit holes, and she said this one company has gone. Well, I heard that they were supposed to start pouring for a plant in Windsor for making batteries, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
there
yeah,
was
yeah.
definitely some
But
people
I
That
think
went
that were
that
tits up.
trying to.
stopped. That stopped
Yes.
as
that
well.
that went tits up because of the tariffs.
And
So,
what's
yeah.
the other one I saw? Oh, I know the other article I did read this week, and I wish I'd have kept it. Toyota has dropped their electric vehicle program.
Yes, I
Completely.
think that's part of it is that people are realizing that there is a lot of pushback on this whole electric vehicle adoption thing and like being forced to do it and that it's not quite as popular as maybe they thought.
No.
And so especially people that like are known for making very solid, reliable gas cars.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe
So,
that'll change because a lot of people refer to those as ICE, internal combustion engine. And apparently ICE also has a bad reputation right now because of the whole immigration thing. But that's okay. That's just a marketing problem that they can work through.
Wow.
Yeah. But also,
yeah.
like at the end
Gas
of the
cars are
day,
better.
yes. Or, but you want
Well,
to feel like you're doing
when,
something
when
nice.
you have to make your electric car sound like a 5-liter Mustang taking off, you're already
Yeah,
lost.
like,
You've already lost.
That's part of the thing that they don't seem to get about it is that like driving
like-
isn't just a convenience thing or like I need to move X amount of stuff from A to B, and the only way to
No.
do that in an efficient manner is through some sort of driving is a very personal, like
Yes.
just emotional feeling.
It's
Like,
funny.
Yes.
I'll disagree with you because some people are car guys. I could care less.
yeah, but
Again, it's fun. Well, let me tell you a quick little story.
Okay.
In high school, a buddy of mine had an MGB, and it was my
Mhm.
car. You don't do this.
yeah,
Okay, great. At the same, I was like 16, 17. I was farming. Long story short, we had to park our equipment in the middle of the field, and I took my dad's Volvo, threw the grease gun toolbox in the back, took my buddy to help me out. Got to the field. He said, "Where are we going?" I said, "Out to the tractors." He said, "How you getting there?" Drove the car through the field. He said, "Oh my God, you drove the car out there." I said, "Well, how else am I going to get there? I'm not going to carry everything."
yeah.
He was appalled because I drove my car. He gets home,
Yes.
tells my dad.
Okay,
he
but
says,
so I
"Mr.
think we need to
Well, my dad
differentiate some
says,
things.
my
So
dad
yes,
says, "You're not going to believe what he did." My dad says, "Well, you didn't expect him to carry it out there." Like, it's for me, I don't care what it is. It would be a Ferrari. It's a car. It's not
Yes,
that big a
but-
deal.
but-
But be efficient.
But there's something about like, have you ever just gone for a cruise because it's a nice night?
That's the difference. We're not
No.
talking about this car or that car. I have
Right,
spent
like-
many hours behind the steering wheel, some good fucking tunes, windows
Yeah.
down.
Going for a road trip,
fresh-
like it's not
a
so much
fresh
about the
coffee and a pack of
destination, right?
smokes.
It's about the journey, and it's just like
Yeah.
my old
Yes.
roommate and I would just kind of randomly do that, like every now and again, and just be like, let's just get in the car and let's just like pick a direction and just drive.
Yeah, like I've
It
done
wasn't
with-
about the car, it's about
I guess I missed
driving.
out.
Because I'm more or less the same. Maybe not quite to the extent that you are, but also like to me, a car is a car is a car,
Yeah.
and it's a tool.
gets me from
Now,
point
I'm
A
not
to point
gonna
B.
Beat the
I'm
shit
good.
out of my tool for no reason.
No, but I'll use
Right? Like I
my
don't take a
tools.
hammer and smash it with another hammer just to put dents in it. But
Yeah.
if it happens to get damaged in the course of me using it to do a thing, I don't get all that upset about it
Yeah.
because it can be fixed or it can be replaced.
Well, you've
But-
seen my
or it
truck.
can
I mean,
stay-
I
yeah.
use my truck for work, and I use my truck
Yeah.
as a truck. Some people use their truck as a, oh my god, don't breathe on my truck. It's like,
Yeah.
A-
And
A
that's
glorified grocery getter.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But
yeah,
Right.
I do
Yeah.
like especially like on a nice warm summer night,
Mm.
you just like windows down. If it's a convertible, you drop the top. Like when I
And-
had the Jeep going, like doors off,
Fuck.
everything off, and just like put some good music on and just cruise
Yeah.
for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But that was also when like gas was
back in the
affordable,
day, we would do that, tossing empties out, going down the road.
right?
Yeah.
Like there's
Wait,
something
did I say
about
that
that,
out
just
loud?
like
Yeah, that's the thing that was not possible when I got to that age.
the
But-
freedom of the open road,
Yeah,
right? Like
but
just
just-
to do that. That's a thing.
That's a thing. Right.
And part
Yes.
of that is the smell of the engine and the gas, the vibration of the car when you're driving, and all
And
in an electric car, it's just
the Jetsons noise.
right like, and that's programmed in because otherwise it's too quiet. All you have is literally just the sound the tires make on the road, which is weird, and like nothing.
And like the
Tesla backup
G-force.
noise with the is
The only electric
super
vehicle I
weird.
don't mind driving is a golf cart.
Yeah, because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, and you can drink legally.
Technically.
Private property. Do what you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something about it that's just
Yeah.
And
It's
electric
just-
cars haven't been able to replicate that experience.
They
Although
can
I will
replicate
say,
the
I
horse.
would like to drive one once because I've heard that the acceleration is pretty good.
Yes.
I was
but
just
that's
about to
the,
say,
like,
I was like, they can
performance,
bring
like-
the horse fucking power. Like you stomp on one of those fucking Teslas, like
It goes.
0 to 60 through an
It
intersection.
goes.
Like, think of a regular 4-lane, right? So 2-lane
Yeah.
each way,
Yeah,
2-lane each way. Through one of those intersections,
Oh yeah,
You're
the
at a
torque
red
on
light
them is just
and-
insane.
you can get
Wow.
to 60 by the time you get to the other side of the intersection.
Yeah.
The
I mean, there's
torque
some
power is
really
there.
fucking cool things about
But there's-
electric motors.
But there's no noise. You don't feel that
Yeah.
rumble.
The
Yeah,
only
if
time
anything-
I've ever come close is I got to drive a 5-liter Mustang when they were a thing back in the day. It scared the crap out of me. So
Yeah.
I've never been a
Uh,
car guy. I'm more of a tractor guy. So
I'll,
that's
I'll-
why. But anyway,
Yeah, I'm gonna replace mine at some point soon, dealing with some work stuff first. But like, I'll let you drop the hammer on mine.
okay.
Oh,
You got a good road for it.
oh, bro.
You can light it up on the street
If-
out front of your house.
If all goes well, can we wait till the?
But that's probably when I'm gonna
for
see
that.
him.
Oh, okay,
allegedly, there are tire marks in front of my house.
Yeah.
because we're like 80%. I'm making it.
Sounds good.
That would
man.
be when it
Um,
would happen. So
According
absolutely.
to Mel, it's 120%. I'm
Yeah.
still being like, hey, we'll see. She's like,
Yeah,
you already
we'll make it happen.
made up your mind.
Yeah, no, you
But-
can, you guys can both drop the hammer. It's fine.
No, I don't care for that. I just want to be there.
On to some sort of sad news now. Not that the other
Mm.
stuff we've been talking about is happy news, but well, the car stuff is kind of happy because yeah, V8s are coming
Ooh.
back, baby.
Okay, yeah.
But
Well, the problem just said that Dodge is bringing them back.
Yeah,
2026.
other companies are it's all about it. Yeah,
So
I mean it's easy. You could wait hours, and even on those like supercharger things. You still got to wait like a fair amount of time to boost the power back up. But gas, like minutes and you could just go another 600
Yeah.
kilometers. It's amazing.
Well, my buddy, just to finish this off, just bought himself
Yeah.
a new F-150, and the salesman talked him out of the electric truck. He says, "What do you do, and where do you live, and what do you want to do? Go up north, do this, blah blah blah." He says,
That's a
"Yeah,
good
don't do
salesman
that.
though.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
buy
an
it."
honest salesman.
Yeah.
He won't
Yeah.
last long.
Yeah. No, I mean, maybe he will, because he's actually selling the customer something that the customer needs, not necessarily what the customer wants. Because he would have bought the other one and been pissed off at it, and then maybe got pissed off at the salesman or never got that company again or
Yeah.
whatever, right? But yeah, so
Yeah.
BC dad loses bid to have court's HPV vaccine decision overturned.
Yeah, so
That's brutal.
let's go towards the end of way more morbid and
Well,
angry.
so like, I mean, I don't even necessarily want him to get into whether this vaccine is good or bad or whatever, because that sort of is indifferent, really. But it's the like
the
this is
fact
part of the problem is that you now have, and I saw it through COVID with the whole COVID thing as well. But so you've got a father that doesn't want his kid to get a particular vaccine, and the mother that does, and this has all gone to court, and now there's like a big thing,
huge thing.
and they're fighting over this, and the courts basically said, no, it doesn't matter what the father says, because he's anti-vaccine. It's like, so where's the parental rights? Like, why are they one
There
side?
isn't any.
Yeah.
There isn't any because there's no parents. There's a guy and a girl that got together, got married, had kids, and split up. They're not parents.
Yeah.
So well, I don't know if we want to get into this late into the show, but we will go down fucking crazy ass rabbit holes because
Well, yeah, I mean,
I
that's what
have-
we do.
but I have crazy things, right? So like, fine. So the mom disagreed and the mom
Yeah.
agreed and the dad disagreed. So until you find me anywhere in the judicial system that will treat a father and a mother at the same standard,
Well, and that's part of the problem as well, right? And then
that's the entire problem.
well, I think that so I won't disagree with you. I think that is a big problem because there is definitely a favoritism towards the mother in the majority of cases. I think when you start
two brothers-in-law that went through that, and
Yeah.
that's how it worked out.
And I think when you start throwing in the father being anti-vaccine on top of that, makes it even worse.
Because he's going
and more
against the government.
Yeah.
So we won't even get into that.
Well, but I think that's part of the problem, though, right? Like, you've got a thing that's already like the majority of the thing, it's this way, and then now, like, if those roles were reversed, and it was the mother that was anti-vaccine and the father that was for it, I think
We
you
would
would
be-
start getting a little bit closer to
No,
equality and parity. But it would be interesting to see who would win on that one, right?
Right, but the problem relies way before that, to the point of where's I'll use quotations, fathers, right?
Yeah.
Person that conceived. I do not have the choice of saying, hey, I want to tap out, abort.
Yeah.
That
And
person, that significant other, the only other gender that can have it, says, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Now, me as the other party that says, I don't want to be responsible.
You're financially on the hook.
I am financially on the hook. But if roles are reversed, where I'm just like, hey, can you keep it? And they say, I don't want to have it, I'm going to abort. I have no substantial say.
Oh, absolutely. I had someone that was in similar situation, although...
Buddy, I'm in that fucking situation. Like, I have been there. I have been through the court system. I have paid thousands of dollars
it's
into
crazy.
Legal fees, where all of a sudden I feel like I'm doing the right thing, and then all of a sudden they're just like, I don't know, they're probably leaning towards the mom.
Well, so the one that my buddy had was where it wasn't that the mother wanted to abort the child. They were fully on board with giving birth to the child, but they wanted to give the child up for adoption.
Okay.
And the dad was like, but like I'll take the child. It's my child.
Yeah.
Like I will gladly raise the child. It's mine. And he had to fight for that. It was like the mother wants to get rid of the kid. And
Yeah.
here there is the
Like-
biological father of this child being like, okay, great. Give me my child.
Yeah.
And the courts are like, ooh, I don't know about that. Like, how is that not a thing? And
like-
then you start throwing it all like this is
Yeah.
insane.
The craziest part, I worked with a guy that were. Go ahead, Eric.
One thing,
Shit, go for it.
keep it in your pants.
I mean, yes,
I
Yes.
mean, and if
it is that simple.
Yeah.
there's,
I'm not saying
I'm done.
nobody is
I'm
to blame.
I'm
No,
not going any
no,
further.
you
No, because I mean,
It
it's a
takes two
whole,
to tango.
there's a whole societal thing here that is the problem.
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
mean the
Don't disagree.
degradation of the family unit and the degeneracy
No
and all
such
of
thing
those
as the
things.
nuclear family.
Yeah.
You've been exposed to pornography. You've been exposed
all
to
of it,
sexualization.
all of it. And it's
of
like, I
like,
don't,
yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I
Yeah.
don't understand. And part of
That's
part of
why I
my-
don't have as much gray in my beard as you, because like there's a generational gap.
Yeah, I'm just older. But part of it is, and it's funny because growing up, I could never understand that because my parents are still married. They've been 65 years or something. My wife's
Uh-huh.
parents are still married, and we've had 4 kids, and all of the kids would come to our house, and it took me a while to figure it out. But I realized that a lot of my friends, no, my kids' friends, had one parent or were split up.
Yeah,
And my
the
wife and I
nuclear
were
family.
always together
Yeah.
as a family, and
Yep.
even now, like this tournament, this
Yeah.
ping pong tournament we had, just kids that I've known since they were 6 or 7 years old. Hey, how's it going? We're glad to be here, and like it was part of being
And
part of
they
a
have
family.
fucking kids, right?
Yeah.
Like they're at the age where
Some of
they
them
have
do, yeah,
kids.
some of them
Yeah,
do.
like yeah, you've known them for so
Yeah.
long, right? The deterioration of the nuclear family.
No.
Right,
It
and
is-
we can get into how that was described, where the mom stayed at home and raised the fucking kids, and the guys went to work or whatever. But it's just like a family.
Well,
A mom and dad
It's
stay
not even
together.
just that. It's even deeper than that.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I could
It
tell
works.
you, but then you would probably laugh at me. But
no.
But
I mean, maybe, but
It's-
we still love you.
yeah. I mean,
well, the
I'll still
biblical
buy you a
family,
beer.
the biblical family.
100%.
That was it.
Yeah.
And that's
I-
we've taken
No.
Eric got all fucked up.
He goes and mentions the Bible, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden the
he
computer
mentioned
freezes on
Jesus,
him,
and
yeah.
now we're fucked. But
But he's also not wrong. I don't know if he can
Yeah,
hear
no.
me say that, but he's not wrong.
no, but and I mean, at the end of the day, I would take the nuclear family and the biblical family within
it's
the
more
same.
or less essentially the same
Yeah,
thing.
it's essentially the same, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, shit, I let him fucking say something. Now I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, funny story. I worked with a guy many years ago now. But dad had 2 daughters, was with the mom. All of a sudden, mom woke up with a fucking backpack.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, you back,
Yeah,
Eric?
you mentioned the
Wow.
Bible and you freeze
You
up.
mentioned
mentioned the
yeah, you
Bible and
mentioned
you
the
said I was
Bible and you
right.
were gone.
and it crashed, and then it came back.
Yeah. It was almost like it was resurrected. Good thing it didn't take
Ooh.
3 days. Yeah.
It took.
But no,
3
you're not
minutes, but
you're
whatever.
not wrong.
Yeah.
You're absolutely not
And
wrong.
I would say, and as we were saying, I don't know if you heard, nuclear family, biblical family, I would qualify
some
those
differences,
sort of
but
the same.
essentially the
Some
same
differences, but at the end of the day, I find those the same.
You need
You
a mom
find
and
someone-
a dad to help raise the kids. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever.
You,
Like, any
you
society.
find someone.
thing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you find someone you want to be with. Fine, you can have mistakes. I'm not saying if you have a child that's not with, and you're not with the mom, you're the problem. But there needs
Yeah.
to be mutual respect in both scenarios from
Yeah.
the mom, from the dad.
Well, and
Yeah.
yeah, and it's
there needs
not
to be
that
wants, and there needs to be everything.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's
It's
not that
sad,
other
it's so
things
sad.
can't work. It's just that statistically
Ideally, yes,
you are better
statistically,
off with a
Yeah.
mom and a dad that are together. and then
Yes.
it goes from there.
And if I
And it
can
doesn't.
say this, most people don't realize that a relationship is work.
Oh,
Yes,
bro.
a lot of it.
And as your kids get older, you tend to focus on your kids, and
Yeah.
your partner and you can kind of, if you're not careful, that's where the
Drift
troubles come
apart.
in. You drift
Yeah.
apart, and then it's
Yeah.
like, well, who are you? Well, I forget why we did this in the first place, and that's
Yeah.
to selfish.
And,
Anyways,
and that point where
Yeah.
your kid turns like, 11 going on 30, where
yeah,
you're
that's not
not
a fun
cool
time.
you're not cool to hang out with.
Yeah.
They want to be
No.
with their friends. They want to be left alone. They'd rather be texting their friends than sit down and have supper with you. And then all of a sudden you're sitting next to someone that you've loved for many, many years. And you're like, fuck, I don't think we've had a conversation without the little being involved. Like 6 years. Like,
Yeah.
so,
I mean,
like, what kind of music do you like, right? Like, you're back at that stage,
Yeah.
and it gets
But I
all
mean,
sorts of fucked up.
I've been to dinner at your house, Eric. I've spent time with you. I've spent time with you and your wife, and then sometimes your kids are there, and I've seen that. And like you guys all, in my opinion, interact in the appropriate way. Is it perfect?
No,
No.
no.
But are you guys doing it right more than you're doing it wrong? Absolutely.
None of them are in jail, so I hope so.
Yeah. Right. Like you all you
Yeah.
seem to have a
Yeah.
great relationship with your kids. You certainly have a great relationship with your
Yeah.
wife
Yeah.
and all that. So like you're
Yeah.
not wrong.
But I
Whether
see
it needs
things,
to,
but going back
yeah.
to this article, I see things like that, and it's just like,
Yeah.
ugh,
Yeah, there's a lot of
it's
things that are wrong with
yeah.
this, and like this is the part that kills me though,
It's
because it's
sad.
just
It's
like
sad.
It is because who are you to say I'm wrong?
wow, and it's just a lot of this is so like it's the same themes over and over, and it's
Yeah.
so skewed and it's so hypocritical because like my body, my choice. So why are we even arguing about what we do or don't do to a child because the child can't consent? And then if we're gonna okay, child can't consent to things, parents are the people that are the guardians of the child, and they need to make the decisions because the child can't.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, but
And
then why are we favoring one over the other? Why is one person's opinion more valid than the other person's opinion? And why is this like
but
personal choice of whether you take a vaccine, whether that vaccine is proven safe or not is irrelevant?
yeah.
It's the choice of the parents to do to the children because it's their child.
Yeah.
And now we're getting at the whole legality of, well, for this specific scenario,
Yeah.
HPV vaccine. That's a sexually transmitted
Yeah.
thing.
Which is again,
So-
that's the thing that's sort of pretty easy to not get.
Yeah,
Just keep it in your pants, which is
Yeah,
the solution
yeah,
to the
right,
problem
like,
that we
keep it
talked
in your
about.
pants, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna go through 6 guys a night, 6 days a week, that's probably something you need to worry about. But we're also talking about legalities of, so at least in Ontario, so what's
Yeah.
the age of a doctor can tell the parent get out of the room and you don't get
16?
access to the chart?
Yeah. I think it's 16 in Ontario.
No.
I think it's 14.
Well, maybe they've changed. But when I was
Yeah,
a kid, it was 16.
It was 16. It's been brought down.
Maybe it's still 16 then. I don't know. But
No, it's not 16. So I know someone that it was the thing where, hey, I want to get access to the chart. They had to get written vocal consent or whatever from a kid that's 14.
That's crazy.
So
yeah.
right,
So it is
we're-
14.
I mean, shit, like
Yeah.
if I didn't tell my mother to like fuck off, she'd still be trying to get into the
Oh,
doctor's office with me
100%.
sometimes. It's like,
Yeah,
ah,
my mom
no,
would
I'm an
still
adult. It
be in
has
there.
been for many, many, many
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
No.
my mom 100% would just be like, yeah, I'll come to your doctor's appointment and hold your hand. Like, mom, I don't need you anymore, right? Like,
Yeah, I'm good.
But-
I got
but-
this.
but-
Yeah.
but the whole legality behind
Yeah.
this is, I'm like, we are talking about, so this is BC. I don't want to Google what legality is for age of consent. Talking, when is this option even given? Best of my
Yeah.
knowledge, 7th grade, 12, 13 years old.
Oh, it's just so crazy though. Like,
So, like,
the
I
the whole-
understand it because, as much as you say, fine, keep it in your pants. We've all been at that age where if your parents tell you you should not smoke, you're probably gonna want to try and smoke, or don't drink, or don't do this, or don't do that, right? You want to be the rebel because your parents are the bad people. So I understand taking precautions at a certain age prior to that happening. You don't want someone at that young, dumb stage of just wanting to be a rebel before the mental capacity is there to understand that, hey, my parents are actually looking out for me compared to just my parents are there to nag on me, taking precautions. But that should also be, maybe we should do more research on educating someone of that age, of being like, this is what the vaccine does. Yes, there's side effects, there's this, there's that, but the only reason you need to get this is if you decide to do all these things, which the precautions of, fine, it'll prevent HPV, won't prevent syphilis, won't prevent this, won't prevent that, because this is an STD or
Yeah.
STI or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah,
So
I still call them
maybe,
STDs. It's
yeah,
that's how I grew up. No,
yeah. Agreed, right? Because now every time I see a Subaru
Yeah.
with that thing on the back, and I was like, "Oh, you're infectious,"
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's still the Sky Dome to me. It's still, yeah,
yeah,
it's
right. So
it always will be. Yeah.
I don't think we should worry about the vaccines
Well,
at such young
Well, and that's the
ages.
thing. Like we can
It should be a
debate about
thing.
all of that stuff, and and a lot of that comes down to personal choice and risk mitigation and all the things, right? And
Yep.
but that's a person's individual choice, and short of them being able to be old enough to make smart choices for themselves, then it defaults to the parents. But here we are, they've at an impasse, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, okay,
One
can
said
we maybe
yes, one
not
said
wait till
no.
the kid's a little bit older? Because, like, why are we even worried about HPV in a young child, anyways? But they shouldn't be doing any of that stuff, anyways.
Yeah.
Let them get a little bit older, and then maybe
They
we
teach
can.
it. They teach it now.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't
Especially in
be. That's the
Ontario,
problem too.
they will
Yeah,
teach you how to fist someone's asshole.
yeah.
Yeah,
And like, if
I
you want
know.
to take that in university, that's fine because you're an adult at that point. But in school,
Yeah.
you shouldn't. And they should, at the
Yeah.
very least, be waiting until the kid's at least a little bit older, and then maybe trying to have a conversation, age appropriate conversation about it, or just if you want those things, you can get those things when you're an adult.
Or as parents, lead by example.
Yeah,
Because I've been caught on this with my kids. Do as I say, not as I do, or do as I
Oh,
you know. The parent wants to say do as I say, not as I do, and they say, well, you do that, and then
so they caught you and the
yeah,
wife in
but
a
if I
kitchen.
want to
Oh, yeah,
sit
no,
around
and
and drink an entire bottle of whiskey with my friends, then that's my
But-
prerogative,
so-
and they can
yeah.
go.
no, but when
Yeah.
you have kids, you've got to. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
No, it's
No,
not.
absolutely,
no,
and like
it's-
it is you. Yeah, everyone has their shortcomings, right? And you don't want to pass those on, especially if you know about those things or whatever,
Yeah.
and you want them to be better off than you are and all that.
Like
But
I've said,
also,
no nail holes.
yeah, but like we're all human. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect.
No,
Um,
absolutely.
and you only don't have any nail holes because you haven't fired that nail gun into your hand by accident yet.
Got grinder nails, but yeah.
Although I did have a staple go into my hand one time, and that really sucked.
Oh, they do. I've shot myself a couple times. It's not fun. So
Somehow when I did it, it wasn't just that it was like the staples going in and it's just you pull it out. They managed to, like, I guess they hit bone or something and closed.
yeah,
So it was like, oh, this is worse. So I actually have to like yank this out rather than like you see the like Steve-O and those other idiots on the internet that have like the real short ones. And
yeah.
you staple the bills and then they can just pry it out because they haven't like pinched in. Yeah, no, mine was like one of those long ones that pinched in, and man, that ever sucked pulling that out of my palm.
How the
Yeah.
hell did you do that? Anyway, that's a
Yeah,
whole other story I need to hear later.
honestly,
For a
I was
conversation.
there's not much to it. I was young and I was dumb and I was playing around with tools and I shouldn't have been.
There you go.
Yeah.
But you learn.
Yes, I have
Probably.
definitely learned to keep the hands away from the dangerous end of the staple gun.
But yeah, but you probably should have
Yeah.
gotten a vaccine for that.
I probably could have. It would
But
have definitely
maybe,
made me way more
uh,
autistic, and in that case, I wouldn't have done it at all.
but maybe the judge ruled against
Yeah,
what someone thought was right. So
yes.
I didn't read this article. I just get very
It's a
aggravated.
difficult one. It's one of those like
Yeah.
it sucks. It sucks for everybody involved. We shouldn't be in the situation that we're in. Stop being like degenerates and ruining the family unit, and then this things won't be an issue anymore.
Yeah, like I saw the neighbor putting whipped cream on a cat and licking it off, and I was like, I got a
Look-
feeling that guy heard someone say a conversation that was probably inappropriate. So maybe we should work on that
yeah.
compared to putting this.
But also,
into
don't tell me what to
kids.
do with my cats, Pierre. I will do whatever it is that I want. They are my property.
Fucking look at
I am
Eric.
kidding.
He's just like
am
I can't
kidding.
have this.
I do not do that with my cats. The only thing that I do with my cats is snuggle them and occasionally pet them if and when they allow that, because they're
Yeah.
cats and they do
Because
everything
they're
on their
cats.
terms and nobody else's.
Yeah. Right.
Well, Gavin, you've met Sniffles. I can't wait for
Yeah.
you to meet him here.
Oh, buddy, I'm not a fan. You need to meet my dogs. Ask Gavin.
I've never
Well-
met a dog that hasn't bit me yet, so no, thanks. But
No,
I guess
100%.
You know, you
I-
gotta
I-
wear a cup more than anything else. They're right at that
Yeah.
right level with the tails.
Yeah. And their
Um,
tail is like, I kid you not, like that big. We have two mastiffs. Our male is
Yeah.
about 180 pounds. Our female is 160 pounds.
nah, not a fan.
Monsters.
I'm sure
are-
they're nice, but
Oh, 100%.
That's all right. I am sure you and the other half will see my dog again at some point real soon, and you may end up having to buy one if the wife continues to enjoy spending time with it.
Bro, that
Um,
dog better be there.
But don't
'cause I
worry,
haven't
she's
met
only
your
like
dog yet.
26 pounds now, and she's like fully grown.
I haven't met your dog yet. It better be there in May.
We'll see. Maybe not. It might just be a boys' weekend, but we will see.
Nice. I'm good with that.
But some things that you might want to buy for your trailers and or your cabins, some Hudson Bay blankets while they're still available. You may be able to get them on a discount at some point soon.
Less than $500 a fucking blanket.
Man, I get that that is a historical thing
Yeah.
for our country, but fuck are those blankets ever ugly. I'm sorry, Ian, if you're listening to this, but fuck are they ever ugly. I cannot fucking stand them.
Like,
And I'm certainly not paying $500 for one.
I don't even know what these fucking blankets look like. I gotta.
It's
fucking
like a
look.
white blanket and then like the colored stripes of the bay. Like what is it, blue, red, and green or something, or like across the bottom of it?
I
Well,
don't know.
you know what?
Are they? in
the
this?
the answer to the question of the headline is yes, it's done. They're all done
Yeah.
because people don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen over the years, like the mega department stores and like the more specific to Canada they kind of die out,
Yeah.
right? Like Eaton's
When
was
I,
the
when I was
first
in
to
high school,
go.
when I was in high school, I worked at Eaton's
Yeah,
in the sporting goods department.
I don't
and
even
then-
think I've been in any Eaton's.
Yeah, and they're I mean it's the Eaton Center in Toronto, but they're gone. I
and
mean
it's still
nobody,
named after that. And then like
Yeah.
like
nobody
Yeah, to work-
goes anymore.
where I
The
went
new
to
department
university,
store is called Amazon.
yeah, where I
Yep.
went to university, one of the campuses there was Lady Eaton College, named after his wife.
Timothy.
Yeah. And the college is still there, the name is still there, the Eaton Center is still the Eaton Center, but
Yeah.
the Eaton family is still, I guess, sort of famous, but not, because there goes the department store and it's been gone for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
Sears is
for a
gone.
long fucking. Sears is gone. Zellers,
Yeah.
Target,
Department
Toys
stores
R Us.
are becoming a thing of the past.
Well, them and malls.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
You
a lot
say-
of malls in the US are being turned into weird sort of hybrid live, work, shop places, and stores are being
only-
turned into apartments.
The only
Well-
good thing about a mall is you walk in and you can buy a fucking box or two of Cinnabons. That's the only good thing about a mall.
I mean, there's some convenient things, like if I'm going away on a vacation and I need to pick up multiple things that I know aren't sold all at one location. Although if you go to a department store, that's the whole part of the point of a department store is
Yeah,
it has
like you can go to
multiple
Walmart and
departments
get
to do
everything
all.
you fucking need.
But
Right.
I mean, there is something to be said about having a convenient place of commerce to go and pick up multiple things, but also I fucking hate them all. I
Yeah,
can't stand it.
100%.
I can't stand the
Like
people. I
there's all
can't
those
stand.
fucking teeny boppers fucking walking
Yeah,
around thinking they're kin shit. And
I
like I
I would
just want
much
to buy a
rather
bag of
just
yeah, I
buy the
want to buy a
same pair of
giant
pants I've been buying for the last
yeah,
12
I
years
want to
off
buy
the
a
internet.
giant bag of fucking fries and throw a fry at every fucking one of them. That's a nigger and fuck.
Yeah,
Like, but it's frowned upon, and I would get charged because
yeah,
I'm
the
this age and they're that
microaggressions
The
and
age.
only one
And
that's the only one that I just thought of, the only one that's really left is Walmart, and that's
yeah,
for who knows how
but
long. So
but
yeah,
I mean the only reason they're around is because they are price competitive,
yes,
yeah,
right? Like you
the,
go there for the convenience of it and it's cheap.
yeah,
yeah,
But
and they
the
have
regular,
groceries. I mean, it's
yeah,
it's becoming it's an all round one stop shop as opposed to like
yeah,
I can't remember the
yeah,
last time I was in. There's one in the city where I'm near, and I was in it. I've been in it once in the last 10 years, probably.
yeah. Like
yeah.
it's just
I
they're
I went to one Walmart and we were doing our bi-yearly pick up the canned goods, the rice, this, that, right? Like replenish supplies. Okay, let's go to Walmart, get the things. Then we went to Costco, pick up the things. And I can honestly say I've never walked into a Walmart since then. I had scanned my own fucking cart. There was no caches available. I got stopped on the way out and asked to see my fucking receipt. And then they went through everything in my fucking cart with a fine tooth fucking comb. I've never been so insulted and everything. And it was a disaster. I was like, well, what if we miss something? Like if I need to use self checkout, I tend to scan stuff and throw it back in the cart and then take something out of the cart, right? Like
mm,
like, I, what if we forget something? Show me the fucking training to qualify me to do this product.
I
So
do
if I'm
your
buying,
job.
well,
yeah, if I need to do anything that involves putting a QR code in or like a code for apples, like I'm not doing it. I'm like, you can come the fuck over here. You can take shit out of my cart because you don't have the conveyor belt for me to do something. And then when I leave, if something was forgotten, it's not on me. And we went to a um,
well,
liberal part of the city where I'm the only fucking guy that got stopped because I'm the only fucking white person in the store. And I was like, keep the fucking receipt. I'm going out. Why did we get stopped compared to everybody else? I was like, it's because we're fucking white. I walked out, didn't take my fucking receipt with me and everything. Nothing drives me more nuts. I understand there's jobs
well,
related to it for technology, this, that, people potentially from this podcast that do that.
well,
I I come here, do I get an employee discount for doing someone's job? You laid off 20 people that work at the cash. I'm doing their fucking job.
well,
Where's my savings? Because none of the product changed price.
yeah. Well, I mean, they're saying here, so 2018, Sears closed its doors after 65 years in this country.
Yep.
Um, and I just had to Google it here. Eaton's closed its doors in 1999.
Ooh, that was right before the Y2K.
Yeah,
They probably jumped the gun a little too much on the Y2K bug.
yeah. Um, yeah. Well, Zellers is gone as a brand. A lot of
Yep.
those were swallowed up by Sears. So maybe that was in hindsight a bad move for them taking on all the assets because they bought all of the Eaton's department stores. They ended up buying all the Zellers department stores,
Yeah,
and now
Yeah.
they're all gone. Although the Sears thing initially was a smart thing because they realized that a bunch of the department stores for Eaton's when they bought them, they were buying them for less than the property value was. So they
Oh,
bought
really?
the stores, and then they were supposed to go and turn around and sell the stores and make more money than what they had paid for them.
Right. But
But ultimately, it didn't work for them, and they're gone. And so, yeah, now you've got. I mean, even Target's first foray into Canada was not successful.
no.
It sounds like they are trying to come back.
Yes, they
I
are.
prefer
I don't know if it's
Target to
gonna work.
Walmart. I find it
Yes.
much classier, but
Target?
still, yes, the Target is definitely a step above Walmart.
Yes.
And it would be nice to have some competition for Walmart because,
Yeah.
like, some of these like Walmart supercenters are like insane, and especially if you go to ones in the States, like it's a whole fucking block. Like it is like the entire block is
It's
a Walmart,
ridiculous.
and it has
You
like,
could spend a day walking
oh
through
yeah,
that fucking store. Like,
it is insane.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean they're saying here the where's the article here? I closed it to find something else. According to Statistica, not to be confused with swastika, a global e-commerce sales has reached a staggering $5.8 trillion in 2023. And it is up
Yeah.
more than $1 trillion from the year previous. So yeah, nobody's going into places like they were before.
No.
They're buying it all online. It's getting shipped straight to their door because I think most people are like all of us and they hate going into stores and shopping.
Well,
And if I can
it's
buy it cheaper online and have it show up at my door, why wouldn't I?
well, even for a buck or two more, depending on. Okay, well, I gotta start my
Drive
vehicle. I
there.
gotta
Yeah.
drive there. I gotta find a parking spot. I gotta do this or whatever. Fine, I saved $2 compared to getting it dropped off at my doorstep. But what did it cost me in my time? Right? So time, your time is
Yeah.
worth nothing if you're doing nothing. Right?
Yep.
If you took a day off of work to do something, fine, that costs you money. But if you're do I go to the grocery store? Do I sit in my lazy boy and watch Netflix? Your time is worth nothing. But if you utilize that and say, I'm going to order all this on Amazon and then I'm going to do this, I'm going to clean the house and I'm going to learn a new skill or I'm going to work on my carpentry skills and I'm going to do part of my renos or whatever, then your time is worth something. But if you're not doing anything with your time is worth nothing. If you're taken away from doing nothing to do nothing, time's worth nothing. Going back to Sears shutting down. Like, it's funny. My wife was just talking to her fucking grandmother. She's like, I remember times where you were like, look through that Sears catalog and tell me that SKU, and I will ship it to where you are because there's a Sears pickup.
Yeah. I mean,
Where
I
you are,
think
which is
part of that
Amazon
went
now,
away.
but like it's Amazon now, but that was a thing where they were the Amazon, and Amazon got with the times where they didn't, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, and
You're right.
this is gonna you probably have never heard of this, Pierre, but there was
Hey,
a thing called consumers distributing.
oh, bro, you know how much shit I have in my house from there? Like my mom still gets stuff from there.
Oh, I'm sure your parents,
Oh,
but like that was the thing. So like,
100%.
there-
You get that fucking little catalog and you flip
yeah,
through it and say what you want. And you fill out the back and send it back to them for $20. You got, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, but that was a thing as well. And so it
Yeah.
was a lot like, I mean, that is the thing. So like, if you look at Sears, the Sears catalog is really what a lot of people knew Sears from,
Yeah.
right? Like, and you watch the hockey sweater or whatever cartoon, right? That was the whole thing. He bought the sweater from the Sears catalog and ended up getting the wrong one.
There's one successful Canadian model that still does that. Lee Valley Hardware.
Yeah.
You walk into a Lee Valley store and you you want a piece of paper to give to them, they go in the warehouse and pull it out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was the thing.
Expensive
And
as
so
fuck.
like they had these,
Yeah, but you know
it
what?
was like
Get what you
ordering
pay
on the
for.
internet before the internet was a thing.
Yeah.
And like, okay,
Yep.
you maybe had to go back to the store to pick it up. Like consumers
Yep.
distributing didn't always have the thing that you wanted in the warehouse.
Yep.
And you maybe had to show up a few days later to get it. And
Yep.
Sears, you would order the thing via catalog and either have to go back to the store to pick it up or they could ship it to your house depending on where you were and what the deal was.
But also the nice thing is you could call on the phone and say, this is that. Here's
Yeah.
my credit card. Here's my phone number.
It was
Call
the
me when
internet
it's in.
before
So
the
you
internet
never
was a
had to
thing.
go to the store, right? Do you
Yeah.
have it? No, order it in. Perfect. I'm
Yeah.
good, right? We're just taking away the person to person interaction of Amazon
Yeah.
telling me it's in stock and how many are in stock and when it's going to be here, right? We're just taking that personality away of the phone conversation, which I'm not opposed to because people mostly suck. But
Yeah, that was the thing.
yeah, it was.
Yep.
The internet
And
before the internet.
and Tupperware parties.
Yes, but I mean those are still a thing, but usually it's now sex toys or something weird. But like
Yeah,
the concept is still there.
yeah,
The Avon and all those other like Mary Kay.
yeah. I know, but it all of a sudden gets weird because I show up at the sex toy party.
Well, whatever. I got two other ones, so maybe we'll just leave those. Cops, burglaries, home invasions, typical Toronto GTA nonsense.
Yeah, we'll leave
Um,
those.
yeah, it's nothing changes, despite the fact that they trotted out some gun statistics that said gun crime is down. Although technically, what they actually admitted to was that crimes in which a firearm was there, not necessarily used. So, like if you get pulled over for speeding and there's a gun in the car, that's included
Legally.
in those statistics. Yeah, yeah,
And even if it's legally, you're coming
yeah, yeah.
back from the range and it's stored properly.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
You
still
you
part of those
committed a
stats.
crime while you had a firearm in your possession.
Yeah.
Not that the firearm was used in the commission of the crime, just that it was present at the scene if
Yeah.
and when a crime happened, even if that crime was a petty crime. It was included. Those have gone down. Violent crime has not changed, and there's people doing all kinds of terrible things. But we will leave it at that on this wonderful St. Patrick's Day. Uh, Eric, where can people find you when you are not complaining about the government? On the internet, anyways. Where can they hear you complaining about the government in other places?
I'm found on the IG, and also you can email me at pinewoodestates3342 at gmail.com, or the ever popular feedback at canadianpatriotpodcast.com.
Awesome. Pierre, where can people find you?
If you want to get custom shirts that I can't show online tonight because we probably hit stuff.
Stand up, stand up.
No, yeah, we're good. We've all said bad words already. You're fine.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want your own, don't be a cunt shirt.
Yeah. Just like for the listening audience, Pierre has a black t-shirt with almost like an old English font, but not
It
quite.
is Old English font.
Yeah.
And it says don't be a cunt
in white letters, big bold white letters across the
Yes,
front of it. So just
by far one of my favorite shirts to go out with my daughter, Walmart, anywhere, everything, Costco, whole kit and caboodle. Love it. And people always give me a dirty look, and I was like, I'm teaching her to not be like you. But if you want one of those done, or anything you can think of, I'll do anything for a few bucks nowadays.
20 bucks is 20 bucks.
Right? I've got a shirt like that too, but but yeah, off the wall customizing at Gmail. We're probably on some of the socialist medias. My wife does that. I deleted all my socialist medias. Or you can find me on Sunday nights at the Copy CPP Canadian Prepper podcast of what you could do to be better prepared about all the news we talk about on Mondays.
Awesome. You can find me typically on Instagram, UrbexGTA. Also, there's some other things coming up that I forgot to mention earlier, events and so on and so forth. The Varista Lake Remote Military March is coming up. We are gonna hopefully try to do something for that. Maybe not necessarily on those dates, but we will do something. I know that the Army Run is going to come up. The Resul 4-day march is going to come up. I know that Dave has a PR clinic coming up for early May. So stay tuned for the ORA for that if you want to come and shoot long range guns with people.
And
some of us may or may not be there, and some of us may or may not be drinking before and or after the events. Certainly not drinking before if we were handling guns. That's a no-no.
No.
Not much anyways. Like it's like 6 beers is fine.
Yeah.
Heading,
Especially if it's American beer.
yeah, it's just piss water anyways. Yeah, it'll be a good time. Also, if you've heard me talk before about some of the things that I've gone and done outside of the country with some crazy fun people, specifically Mr. Ed Calderon, he will be coming in early May, the weekend after the PR clinic. So if you want to come, and I believe he's doing a counter custody class. So if you want to spend a weekend getting tied up with a bag over your head and learning how to get out of that, check his thing out. My buddy Boris at True North Tradecraft, who's been on the show, is hosting. I will be there. We'll be there. It'll be a good time. There may or may not be margaritas after and or tacos, but some fun, hard skills to learn, do all the things. Apologies to Rod. Rod is recovering from his trip into Toronto for the Sportsman Show. I understand it. Spending time in the city and dealing with all those people is incredibly traumatic. I still need to recover from that myself, but somebody had to be here.
Yeah. Quick question.
Yeah.
That training course, is there potentially an age limit, or probably strongly in?
I mean, I haven't seen anything. Like, are you talking like a lower limit or an upper limit or both?
I'm talking lower because
You want to bring the kid?
That would be something that obviously I never want them to endure, but I want them to know what
I
to
can
do
tell you that he's
in those
probably
scenarios.
not going to throttle back. So I wouldn't say no.
Just right,
But-
just something to know that
I will say this
That-
from experience of having gone through it myself and having been there when other people go through it. There are people that come and show up and do the thing that you think will be totally cool, and then have a very visceral reaction once they are restrained and cannot get out of it.
yeah.
Some people,
I'll wait a few years from the sounds of it.
so it's like anything else, right? Like you have your
Yeah,
fight,
yeah.
flight, or freeze response,
Yeah.
right? And it has a thing to trigger that, because you're like, even though you know it's fake, and like if you're really panicking, they'll cut you out of it like instantly.
Yeah,
There
but
is some
it's
thing in you that was the minute that they put those zip ties or whatever on, some people are fine.
Yeah.
Other people do one of those other things where they will either like, I won't name names, but a good friend of mine did it. They're all tied up and they like were struggling and they got like super
panic
aggro.
attack. Yeah, like panic
just
attack.
no, like angry, just like they were just like
Oh,
physically fighting against it and like grunting, and like you could see them just like getting super angry. Another lady, because she had gone through some other stuff previously, the minute that they put those things on her, it brought her back to that moment, and she totally just froze and started crying. And
yeah. Flashbacks and
yeah,
so-
it was rough, but they they sort of put things on pause. They talked to her and they walked her through it, and they're like, look, you've done all of this stuff already today. You know that you can do this. You know that you're safe. Just work the problem one step at a time.
Yeah.
And she actually worked her way through it. It took her a minute, right?
Yeah.
Turn off that sort of immediate reaction, refocus, breathe, reset the brain. And then she worked her way through it. And then at the end of the day, like, despite the emotional sort of part at the beginning, was ecstatic that she did it, to the point where the next time they ran the class, she brought all of her employees back with her and was like, and didn't tell them what it was, just said, we're doing a team building thing for the weekend, so you guys are coming. So that's what they show up to.
That's kind of nice.
But it went from like having a very strong emotional response to, I'm doing this again, because despite that, I was able to work through it and get incredibly empowered by it. And now I want to share that with everyone.
Yeah, you need to figure out, like, ideally, you should never deal with this scenario. But if you need to deal with the scenario, let's do it in a safe environment where you can, have your little freak out and like, okay, let's reassess what.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, this is the place to do it.
Yeah, 100%. So that's good to hear. But yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
it
so
was
maybe
just a
like
quick.
I don't know,
Yeah,
we'll figure it out. But like I wouldn't say no, but maybe wait a little is maybe a little bit better. But also
yeah, yeah.
it
No,
all depends on you got a
she's at
pretty
that
tough
weird
kid.
age where I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
you want to, but you're like, is it
Yeah,
still too
that's all right. We
young?
can always figure something
Uh,
else out, and we
Yeah,
can we can
I
walk
would
her into
I
it
would say
slowly.
as a father of a daughter, I would trust your paternal instincts, and
Yeah,
I would
100%.
I would leave her a little bit,
yeah, but
because
yeah,
once that goes, it's gone.
well, but yeah,
Anyway,
it's a fun time. So for you people that are curious about all the fun stuff like that, come on out. Be a good time, good skills. But yeah, like to remind everyone. Oh no, sorry, one more thing before I do that. If you've listened to the show this long, discount code Patriot to check out RagnarOkTactical.ca, buy some first aid stuff, buy some other things. Keep putting Andrew's kid through college, even if he doesn't show up to, do the
Yeah,
show anymore.
I'd fucking say.
Well, yeah, that's fine. But also, reminder, you're a small fringe minority with unacceptable views.